Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome back to another video. I'm so glad that you have tuned in. So I want to let you all know that I have formulated a platform entitled The Nurse Collective. You may be asking, what is The Nurse Collective, Leah? Well, The Nurse Collective is simply a platform that I personally created that was birthed out of frustration as a new nurse. There will be various resources that will help you through your nursing journey. So do me a favor, first and foremost, I want you to follow The Nurse Collective on my Instagram page. The link will be down in the description box, but I also want to let you all know that I have created an ebook. This ebook is specifically for new nurses. It is entitled How to Survive Your First Year as a Nurse. I know how difficult it is to be a new nurse, and I understand that sometimes you can feel alone and you feel like, man, will I ever get over this hump? But in this ebook, I have poured out some tips that I personally use that has helped me to this current state, and I want to share this information with you. There's a link to my stand store, and it is, again, free. So download the ebook and let me know once you read it how it has helped you. So I really want to talk to you about some comments that I have been hearing and have never really addressed them, but it's time that we address this and we get this out of the way, and so that we can go on to be better nurses. So in the 3 years that I've been a nurse, I even said this myself, but I've been hearing this here lately, specifically because new grads are on the floor, and I've been hearing some things, specifically nurses asking experienced nurses, man, will I ever get over this hump of not knowing anything? When will I ever feel confident? And immediately when I heard it, I was like, yo, I gotta make a video, because I remember specifically the moments where I felt that way, and I thought that, man, I will never get to this point, right? And so I want to share with you 3 tips that will help you go into your shifts and be confident. First thing, in order to be confident in your shift, is to rely on the basic information that you were taught in nursing school. That will help relieve all anxiety, and that will ensure that your patient is safe. So the first and foremost thing I want to say, you have and know everything in order to adequately take care of your patients. You are a nurse. You are a nurse. Don't forget that. Don't let anyone take that away from you. You are a nurse, so act accordingly, boo, okay? But first and foremost, I always say this, and I'm going to continue to say this as long as I put out videos, but know that when you are a nurse, you have been adequately trained and educated to take care of patients. So rely on the information. The number one thing I was told by an experienced nurse is to utilize safety. And that means just making sure when you leave the room that the bed is in a low position. If someone is a fall risk, filling out the fall risk tool, put on non-skid slippers when they're walking, utilizing the gait belt, utilizes assistive equipment, everything that would keep your patient safe, even making sure that their belongings are close to them, or their call light is close to them, so that they won't have to get up and they won't fall. Utilize all the safety measures in order to keep your patients safe. Also, when it comes to administering medication, we understand the rights in order to administer medication, making sure you're asking the patient their name, and not forget these things that you learn in Fundamentals 101, and utilize them on a daily basis, and understand when all else fails, rely on these things that will keep your patient safe. Also, I think a lot of times, if you are a nurse, rely on your vital signs. Your vital signs are an indicator that something is going on with your patient. Where I work, we utilize Epic, and Epic has what we call a Muse score. Muse score is basically a modified early warning score. And basically, in simple terms, basically, if your vital signs are out of the normal range, it will indicate 3, I believe a score of a 3, it's kind of like, look, as a nurse, it's indicating to you, look, you need to check on your patient, because either, their heart rate is elevated, either their temperature is elevated. And 4 and 5, I think it turns to red. And so when it turns to red, basically it's indicating to you, look, something's going on with your patient. Either they're in pain because their heart rate is up, even they have a fever, their temperature is up, and so you need to act. Basically, vital signs let you know, or sometimes the first indicator, sometimes, look, something's about to happen, so you need to intervene and check on your patient. So again, when you're PCAs, or you're going in to take vital signs and things are abnormal, specifically if they're out of the patient's normal range of vital signs, act on it, observe. And if you're unsure, rely on someone to help you. The second tip is to basically understand that you are not alone I would literally envision some bad things happening and try to assess myself to figure out, man, do I really know what's going on? Do I know how to act? Do I know how to intervene? And a lot of times I didn't have the answers to it. But I want to let you know that you are not alone. Specifically during day shift, you have a lot of resources, but whatever shift you work on in an acute care setting, I'm running down some professionals that can help you during your shift. Rely on your experienced nurses during your shift or wherever they are, and ask questions. I have always said this in all of my videos, and I still utilize this as a nurse. Ask questions. If you're unsure about something, something, and I still do this as a nurse. If you're unsure about something and you just want a second opinion, ask someone, ask another coworker who's there and say, look, you know, do you think this is a good thing to do? And if they're not around, ask your charge nurse. Your charge nurse is the #1 person who is there to assist you. A third, we call stat nurses. We have stat nurses in our hospital, and stat nurses are basically when an ERT or a code happens, they are ICU nurses who are specifically available to help you to basically bring your patient back to optimal state of wellness. But they also sometimes are not always in a code, they're not always in ERT, and they should be walking around to look and see, hey, is your patient declining? Do you need something? But a lot of times they may miss it. So just know who your stat nurses are and how to contact them. A lot of times when I was a new nurse and I realized who they were, I would say, look, you know, I would totally disregard my charge nurse, and I would call them because I had a good relation, and I would say, look, this is such and such is, you know, doing this, and their labs do this, and such and such and such. And they would say, hey, Leah, have you tried? Do you want to do this? They will walk me through everything I needed to do in order to make sure that my patient was well. So again, you have stat nurses. Other than that, again, you have stat nurses. And then not only that, if you feel your patient is declining, if you feel your patient from the moment you walked in until the current state of you assessing them and they are not the same, you need to call an ERT. An ERT is basically, in simple terms, every professional, in order to sustain your patient and bring them back to optimal state of wellness, is surrounding your patient and you, and they're trying to put their head together to understand what has happened to this patient and how we can make them better. So that's basically how I look at an ERT. And if I feel that I have done everything I needed to do and there's nothing on my unit that can bring my patient back to what they were, I will be calling an ERT, and you should be too. So don't hesitate to utilize the professionals that are around you, because you are not alone. There's always somewhere there. There's always someone to help you. You do not have to know everything in order to take care of a patient. That is not what a nurse is. A nurse is, I believe, a good nurse is someone who utilizes the resources around them in order to help take care of their patient. Last and not least, third tip is to stop doubting yourself as a nurse. I have said this in my first tip, but I'm going to say it again. You are a nurse. You have been certified to take care of patients. Act accordingly, boo. I'm serious. You are a nurse. Rely on the information that you were given during nursing school, and every mistake that you may make, don't count it as you're not good enough. Ask questions, and also remember that nursing is an ongoing profession. There's always things to learn, so you will never get to a point where you know everything, but always have an open mind in order to acquire new information. I love you guys, and I am rooting for you, and I am your motivator through this nursing journey, and you're going to make it. You're going to make it, and I want you guys to share with me your stories of where you are in your nursing journey and how I have helped you. Again, thank you so much for tuning into my channel, and I see you guys in my next video. Don't forget to download my free ebook. Have a good day.